Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Naam Sankirtanam ki. So I've been asked to speak on this first 6 verses of the 4th canto, 22nd chapter. Okay, so we'll just recite one of the verses. Tad darshanodgatan pranan pratyaditsur ivotita sa sadasyanugo vainya Indriyesho gunani va Taddarshanodgatan prana Pratyaditsurivotita Sasadasyanugo vainya Indriyesho gunan iva Taddarshanodgatan prana Pratyaditsurivotita Sasadasyanugo vainya Indriyesho gunan iva Taddarshanodgatan prana Pratyaditsurivotita Sadasyanugo vainya Indriyesho gunaniva. Mataji. Taddarshanodgatan prana Pratyaditsurivotita Sasadasyanugo vainya Indriyesho gunan iva. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Seeing the 4 Kumaras, Prithu Maharaj was greatly anxious to receive them. Therefore the king with all his officers very hastily got up as anxiously as a conditioned soul whose senses are immediately attracted by the modes of material nature. Purport. Bhagavad Gita 3.27, it is said, Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimoodatma kartaham iti manyate. Every conditioned soul is influenced by a particular mixture of the modes of material nature. As such, the conditioned soul is attracted to certain types of activity which he is forced to perform because he is completely under the influence of material nature. Here, Prithu Maharaj is compared to such a conditioned soul, not because he was a conditioned soul, but because he was so anxious to receive the Kumaras that it was as if without them he would have lost his life. The conditioned soul is attracted by the objects of sense gratification. His eyes are attracted to see beautiful things. His ears are attracted to hear nice music. His nose is attracted to enjoy the aroma of a nice flower. And his tongue is attracted to taste nice food. Similarly, all his other senses, his hands, his legs, his belly, his genitals, his mind, etc., are so susceptible to the attraction of the objects of enjoyment that he cannot restrain himself. Prithu Maharaj, in the same way, could not restrain himself from receiving the four Kumaras who were bright by dint of their spiritual progress. And thus, not only he himself, but also his officers and associates all received the four Kumaras. It is said, birds of a feather flock together. In this world, everyone is attracted by a person of the same category. A drunkard is attracted to persons who are also drunkards. Similarly, a saintly person is attracted by other saintly persons. Prithu Maharaj was in the topmost position of spiritual advancement, and as such, he was attracted by the Kumaras who were of the same category. It is said, therefore, that a man is known by his company. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahamadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nita Kripa Pradayane Orakata Dhammadaya Nagaragranthaya. Hare Krishna. So we'll just read the other translations and very small purports, which are also very relevant, especially to this topic of reception of guests as done by Prithu Maharaj. Okay. So culturally, philosophically and spiritual advancement wise, this is a very important subject for all of us. The great sage Maitreya said, while the citizens were thus praying to the most wonderful King Prithu, the 4 Kumaras, who were as bright as the sun, arrived on the spot. Seeing the glowing effulgence of the 4 Kumaras, the masters of all mystic power, the king and his associates could recognize them as they descended from the sky. The 4 Kumaras, as described herein as Siddheshwaran, which means masters of all mystic power. One who has attained perfection in yoga practice immediately becomes master of 8 mystic perfections. To become smaller than the smallest, to become lighter than the lightest, to become bigger than the biggest, to achieve anything one desires, to control everything, etc. These 4 Kumaras as Siddheshwaras had achieved all the yogic perfectional achievements, and as such they could travel in outer space without machines. While they were coming to Maharaj Prithu from other planets, they did not come by airplane, but personally. In other words, these 4 Kumaras were also spacemen who could travel in space without machines. The residents of the planet known as Siddhaloka can travel in outer space from one planet to another without vehicles. However, the special power of the Kumaras mentioned herewith is that whatever place they went to would immediately become sinless. During the reign of Maharaj Prithu, everything on the surface of the globe was sinless, and therefore the Kumaras decided to see the king. Ordinarily, they do not go to any planet which is sinful. This purport we had read. Seeing the 4 Kumaras, Prithu Maharaj was greatly anxious to receive them. Therefore, the king, with all his officers, very hastily got up as anxiously as a conditioned soul, whose senses are immediately attracted by the modes of material nature. When the great sages accepted their reception according to the instructions of the Shastras and finally took their seats offered by the king, influenced by the glories of the sages, immediately bowed down. Thus he worshipped the 4 Kumaras. After this, the king took the water which had washed the lotus feet of the Kumaras and sprinkled it over his hair. By such respectful actions, the king, as an exemplary personality, showed how to receive a spiritually advanced personality. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Apani Acharya Prabhu Jivera Shikhaye. It is very well known that whatever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught in his life as Acharya, he himself practiced. While he was preaching as a devotee, although he was detected by several great personalities to be an incarnation of Krishna, he never agreed to be addressed as an incarnation. Even though one may be an incarnation of Krishna, or especially empowered by him, he should not advertise that he is an incarnation. People will automatically accept the real truth in due course of time. Prithu Maharaj was the ideal Vaishnava king. Therefore, he taught others by his personal behavior how to receive and respect saintly persons like the Kumaras. When a saintly person comes to one's home, it is the Vedic custom first to wash his feet with water and then sprinkle this water over the heads of oneself and one's family. Prithu Maharaj did this, for he was an exemplary teacher of the people in general. The 4 great sages were elder to Lord Shiva, and when they were seated on the golden throne, they appeared just like blazing fire on the altar. Maharaj Prithu, out of his great gentleness and respect for them, began to speak with great restraint as follows. Purport. The Kumaras are described herein as the elder brothers of Lord Shiva. When the Kumaras were born out of the body of Lord Brahma, they requested to get married and increase the population. In the beginning of the creation, there was a great need of population. Therefore, Lord Brahma was creating one son after another and ordering them to increase. However, when the Kumaras were requested to do so, they declined. They wanted to remain brahmachari throughout life and be engaged fully in devotional service of the Lord. The Kumaras are called Naishtika Brahmachari, meaning they are never to marry. Because of their refusal to marry, Lord Brahma became so angry that his eyes became reddish. From between his eyes, Lord Shiva or Rudra appeared. The mode of anger is consequently known as Rudra. Lord Shiva also has a Sampradaya party known as the Rudra Sampradaya, and they are also known as Vaishnavas. So, today's, as I said, topic is titled very important and very crucial on advancement on all front, material or spiritual also. So, Prithu Maharaj exemplary reception of guests. I would like to speak something in this direction for my own purification. So, So here basically the 6 verses indicate these 6 things that is happening. Just like we see in the first canto of Bhagavatam, that even in the case of Narad Muni, when he's wanting to compile the whole of Bhagavatam, that time, when Vyasadeva is planning to do that, the Narad Muni suddenly arrives. The same way here also, 4 Kumaras have arrived on the scene, and Prithu Maharaj, although is busy receiving, the chapter before this is where Prithu Maharaj is getting glorified. So here after that episode, as soon as the Kumaras arrive, then Prithu Maharaj is ready for the reception. So all these 4 Kumaras were recognized by everybody, and Prithu Maharaj himself was very anxious to receive them. So generally when a person is very much glorified in the material world, he becomes very puffed up. And after that, if he has to receive somebody else, a lot of difficulty for him. Like we see, I think in the next canto or 6th canto, King Indra is in that same position. So he's there in the heaven and he is very much glorified. And after that, his guru just happens to come and he neglects him. He just happens to be little bit indifferent to him when he realizes that he committed a great blunder over there. But we are seeing in the case of Prithu Maharaj, it's not that case. Although he is very much glorified, but he is still very much humble. He is very anxious to receive all the 4 Kumaras. Then after that, once they came, he seats them on the throne and he bows to them. Then he does their Pada Abhishek and sprinkles that water on everybody else. After this, with great restraint, he starts to glorify them. So this understanding of guest reception is very crucial to practice and to understand it also. Once the story comes in Jagannath Puri, there was a king by name Kulashekar. This is not the South Indian king, this is that king over there. So in one part of Orissa he was the king, and so his spiritual master happens to come to the kingdom over there. So there are many details, especially when it comes to reception of guests and all. So the spiritual master happened to come, and this king happened to pay his prostrated obeisances, and then he sat over there and he made the guru sit on the throne for that matter. So as this happened, then something was happening in the assembly and all of that. Then the king just, he took his hand, he just rubbed his hand like this. He just rubbed his hand and the dust was there, which touched him after he paid obeisances to the guru. So as soon as he did that, the dust and all got cleared off. Then the guru and all the brahmanas who were sitting over there, they just bowed their heads down. Then the assembly was progressing. Then the king realized something is not happening right over there. Then he happened to ask his spiritual master and the brahmanas, why is it that you appeared as if like admonished or something negative or some bad omen has happened and something negative is about to come. Then they happened to say that you just happened to wipe off the dust which you got over your forehead when you had paid obeisances. Then the king asked, so like he wanted to know the reason. Then the guru happened to tell that it is considered an offense. He just said and left that place. Then the king happened to ask all the brahmanas, so what is the atonement for this offense? One has committed such an offense. Then everybody was very silent. Then he was telling, you have to tell me, what is the atonement that is there to commit such an offense? We might not even consider it to be an offense also. He wiped his head. Then he repeatedly asked, what is it that is actually an offense? What is the atonement of this offense? When the brahmanas, they got to know from the scriptures, they knew, but from the scriptures they got an elaborate idea. Then they happened to tell the king, for this offense which you have committed, what you have to do is, you have to take a thick copper plate, and put that plate on fire. Till that point, it becomes red hot. After it becomes red hot, then you have to pay, I think 300 or 365 obeisances on that. Dandavat pranam on that. Then the king said, so be it. I am ready for that. I have committed this offense. I have to atone for it. If not, the reaction will come to my whole kingdom also for that matter. Then the whole setup was made and that copper plate was put and fire was lit. Plate started to become heated and became red hot. So the whole praja actually loved the king very much. They knew he was a very religious person, great devotee of Lord Jagannath. So everybody was wondering, what will happen? What will happen now? The plate became red hot and one wet wood wood that is not like dried. You understood, no? And just cut fresh wood that is cut. That was just touched to that plate. Okay? Just by touching to that, it caught fire and became black altogether. So everybody was wondering what will happen to the king. Okay? So the king went up, climbed the stairs and praying to Lord Jagannath. He started to pay his obeisances. Okay? First time he paid obeisances, everybody was wondering, what will happen now? Okay? Then second time he paid obeisances. Okay? Then, first time only he should have like burnt only with that. Okay? And second time he paid obeisances. Then third time he paid obeisances. Okay? Then everybody understood, something is happening over there. Okay? Then they understood Lord Jagannath had intervened and made the whole plate completely cool. Okay? So the king was not feeling any kind of fire only because of that. Okay? Anyway, from this story we learn how crucial and so many details are there, especially when it comes to reception of guests for that matter. Okay? So the whole of Vedic culture was actually based on blessings. Okay? It was not based on performance, or it was not based on qualifications. Okay? Duryodhana as such was so qualified. Okay? He was thinking, by getting so many of these, he was very diplomatic. Practically all the Kshatriya skills and all, if you have to compare the Pandavas and Duryodhana performed much better. Okay? He got a huge army with him. Okay? Such a huge army that Pandavas could have been easily, killed. Or there was no chance of them winning the war. Okay? But because they had the blessings of all great devotees and their great masters and all, okay, that became the sole reason for their victory. Okay? Even you happen to see our Srila Prabhupada also for that matter. Okay? His god brothers forget knowing Sanskrit. They used to give classes in Sanskrit altogether. That was their proficiency. Okay? Very, very deeply learned. Okay? They had memorized practically Puranas, Bhagavatam and everything for that matter. Cover to cover they knew. Okay? And that with that sense of scholarship, they used to preach. Okay? But Prabhupada if you happen to see, he was a married person. Okay? Or I heard in one lecture of Bhakti Vikas Maharaj was telling that Prabhupada in his Grahastha days, as soon as he used to get up, he used to chant 4 rounds. Okay? Then before breakfast, he used to chant 4 rounds. Then before lunch, he used to finish 4 rounds. Then before dinner, he used to finish 4 rounds. Okay? Like that, he used to complete his 16 rounds for that matter. Okay? Now, if you have to compare Prabhupada and all the other sannyasi, god brothers and all, you can imagine the difference in their sadhana bhakti. Quality of sadhana bhakti or whatever we can call it. But one thing he had was this great faith in this understanding of blessings. Okay? Great faith in understanding of blessings for that matter. Okay? Even he never considered blessings to be like interacting with his guru or understanding, having like deep realizations of Ras Leela and having those kind of conversation with his spiritual master and all. Okay? He considered, basically his spiritual master entered his life, okay? And that itself he considered a great blessing. Okay? Over and above that, he got 2 instructions. One was to preach in the West, one more was to print books and distribute books. Okay? Only these 2 things. Okay? And he considered these to be like the greatest benedictions in the whole creation. He valued them in his heart more than anything else. More over the staying in dham, chanting extra rounds, whatever we call that. Okay? He valued these few things that he got from his spiritual master as the highest of the blessings. Okay? And he treasured them in his heart like anything. Okay? For practically 4 or 5 decades, he was not able to execute them. Okay? But he treasured them in his heart. He knew that these things are sufficient to revolutionize the whole world. To take the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ahead, he had complete faith in that. So, this is what is the Vedic culture that is completely based on blessings for that matter. Completely based on blessings. As I said, so even if you happen to see, his sannyasi god brothers, they happen to go to London, they are trying to preach over there. Then they come and tell Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur that your formula in the West, it doesn't work over there. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, no, you don't know how to make it work. One day will come, everything will happen. You will live to see that. And that did happen. Okay? With, as I said, Srila Prabhupada, when he went, so at least these people were supported by Gaudiya Math. Okay? Institutional support was there, financial support was there, all these things were there in their backing. Okay? But Prabhupada, when he went, even this was not there. Okay? All he had was the faith in the blessings of his Guru. Okay? And that made the whole of the Krishna consciousness movement that we happen to see today fructify to this degree. Okay? So this understanding of blessings and doing hospitality with this understanding is very crucial. Fifth canto of Bhagavatam describes that a person who is neglectful to the guests who visit their place, they will be taken to a special hell where vultures will be flying in the sky, and then they'll come and with the same eyes with whom he rejected the guest, the same eyes will be plucked out by the vultures as such. Okay. So, as I said, this aspect of blessings or understanding of blessings in the Vedic culture is very, very crucial. Okay. People valued it to such a degree that in their home, separate guest room used to be there, just to make sure that this one aspect of the scripture is taken care of so strongly. There was no concept of this hotel or inn or this, what do you call that? Oyo. Oyo and all never existed. Okay. In fact, when the hotels and all were introduced in India, hotels and these Bisleri bottles and all, people never bothered to look at them also. Nobody wanted to buy them also. They were thinking, okay, if I have to go to some place, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, whole world is my family. If I want some place to stay, so many people will give me some place to stay. Okay? And they used to travel to dham, they used to travel to other places. Somebody used to give them some place to stay, prasadam and all, food, everything used to be arranged. Okay? So there was no concept only that existed that I need to be bothered about my accommodation and these kind of things. Okay? That was the high degree of, standard. Everybody across the whole of the country for that matter used to maintain when it comes to receiving and entertaining guests for that matter. This is in Chanakya's teachings. Agni is worshipable for the twice born. The Brahmana is worshipable for the other caste. The husband is worshipable for the wife. And the guest who comes for food at the midday meal for all. I just read it again. So Agni is something that is worshipable for the twice born. The Brahmana is somebody who is worshipable for the other caste. The husband is somebody who is worshipable for the wife. But the guest who comes for food at the midday meal, he is worshipable for everybody. He is worshipable for everybody. So here in this particular context, I would like to throw light on this one particular theme that is over here. That in relation to Prithu Maharaj, it came in one of the shlokas, that he was very, very anxious to receive the great sages. He was very, very anxious to receive the great sages. Material world is described as Dukkalayam, Ashashvatam, and this body is called as Kleshada. Kleshada. So somebody who gives Narayan to others, he is called as Narada. This body gives Klesha to one, that is why it is called Kleshada. It gives Kleshas. So body as such is abode of pain. So all the time there is anxiety. All the time everybody has anxiety. Anxiety of the four problems that we speak of. Birth, old age, disease, death. These are born to give anxiety to everyone. Only the choice the living entity has is to where he can direct this anxiety. And here we can learn from Prithu Maharaj that he is directing his anxiety to welcome the four sages. At the cost of great inconvenience to himself and changing all the schedules and all, he is wanting to welcome them. He is wanting to welcome them very grandly for that matter. So this consciousness on the path of bhakti is very, very crucial. So in what way is our anxiety directed? In what way is our anxiety directed? Is it directed in such a way that we will grow in our Krishna consciousness, or is it directed in such a way that we become more and more materially conscious? And this is the only choice we have. This is the only choice we have for that matter. To the degree we have understood the importance of bhakti, to that degree we become very anxious towards that. Like if I happen to say, when a person as such is a beginner and all, so he is just chanting his rounds, some or the other chanting and all. But with the passage of time, we have to develop this sense of anxiety towards our rounds. How nicely are we chanting it? Are we developing a taste for chanting holy names? Are we able to chant extra rounds? Are we developing the need for chanting extra rounds, etc., etc.? So if these things are happening, then basically the anxiety is growing in the spiritual direction. If not, naturally the anxiety will grow in material direction. You need there is no need to mention of that. Just like the material world is compared to a river, and the current is on one side. If you have to spiritually progress, then you have to swim on the other side. And there will be, force. In the sense, this anxiety will develop. If someone is not anxious on the spiritual side, then is taken down on the material direction. Forcefully is taken, without any second thoughts. Okay? Like in the outside world, if you happen to see, people have so many anxieties. Okay? They want 2 BHK, 3 BHK, still they are not satisfied. After that, still their anxiety increases. Then they want this vehicle, that vehicle, still they are not satisfied. That vehicle has to be changed, now next vehicle has to come. Then they want this gadget, that gadget, still they are not satisfied. It goes on and on and on. Okay? So the question remains very simple. In which direction are we directing our anxieties? Okay? So here from Prithu Maharaj we learn in what way he is actually directing his anxiety. Okay? So he is very anxious to make the reception happen very nicely, to make sure the sages are welcomed very properly, etc. etc. There was one personal servant to His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj. His name was Stoka Krishna Prabhu. So our Gauram Prabhu describes him that if you give him like 10 tasks to do, 8 of them he used to do wrongly only. He used to commit more mistakes than completing any of the services. Okay. But when he passed away because of that cancer episode and all of that put together. So His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj, remembering him, Maharaj said that in his services and all, he used to commit so many mistakes as such. Okay? But Maharaj says that he used to be so much bothered in his heart that he is not able to do the services properly and please Maharaj as such. Okay? He used to be very much, no, I'll need warm water, I'm okay. This is because of Nirjala Ekadashi I did yesterday. Something will be there. Please tolerate. So Maharaj pointed out that he used to be so much bothered in his heart that he is not able to please Maharaj. He is not able to do the services properly. He is becoming a more source of botheration, anxiety for Maharaj for that matter. Okay? And this sense of consciousness that he had, he didn't do the services properly. Okay? But he carried the anxiety in his heart to make it happen properly. And that became his qualification for pure devotional service. At the end of his life also, he was thoroughly Krishna conscious, surrounded by devotees, being in a dham, surrounded by a spiritual master, etc. etc. Okay? It is not that one is surrounded by spiritual master and he becomes Krishna conscious because of that. Because his whole life, he endeavored with this consciousness of having anxiety in relation to Krishna, in relation to Krishna's devotees, etc. etc. That is why he became qualified for that consciousness for that matter. Okay? I'd like to share one story of His Holiness Indradum Swami Maharaj. Okay? I'll share one photo also on the screen. Just give me a minute. Okay. Okay. I'll just share some details to just make it a little more interesting. Okay? So Maharaj was on Harinam Sankirtan. Okay? This was like in relation to one person. Okay? So this is in Ustorny Morsk Sea, in the Polish Baltic Sea, okay, coast. Okay. I don't know where it is. Okay. Yeah. So Maharaj, they were. I'll show. At the end, I'll show. Okay. So Maharaj, was looking for one of his friend. Okay. So this friend he had met for 15 years back. Okay. He was a homeless man, very old person, maybe in his 70s or so. Okay. A very shabby person. To have like huge beard and very dirty clothes and all. He used to be sitting at some corner and used to be selling like small things and all. Okay? And in the country dump, basically like the waste and all people put, from there he used to gather some small things, get it to his small kind of a shop and all, and there he used to keep selling things as such. Okay? With that he used to gather sufficient for his well-being and whatever. He used to survive all the cold Polish winters with that. Okay? So life went on. And okay. So whenever Maharaj used to come for Harinam Sankirtan, he used to be very, very elated. Okay? He used to be very, very happy and used to follow the devotees and dance with them, sing with them, etc. etc. Okay? Then there used to be these huge Polish festivals. Okay? And people used to come in huge numbers and there used to be a great festival for that matter. Okay? Once it so happened, this person happened to come over there. Okay? And as he was like very shabby, having a very dirty beard and all dirty clothes, okay? The security guards only rejected him. Okay? Don't even think of entering for this matter. No, don't enter over there. Okay? Somehow on one of the occasions it so happened that Maharaj himself was there. Okay? Maharaj saw that he was very wanting to enter that place. He was just like trying to come and the security guards were stopping. All this Maharaj saw. Maharaj himself went. Okay? Then he told the security guard, no, don't bother this person, let him in. Okay? Then he came inside. Then Maharaj personally took him to the restaurant. Okay? He made him sit over there and he ordered for a full meal. Okay? Ordered for a full meal and both of them as such had very loving exchanges and he took with Maharaj over there. Okay? So this person was greatly touched by Maharaj's exchanges. Okay? Then, understood, no? 15 years, practically for 15 years, every year he used to come to the festival and Maharaj says that he used to be very much visible in the crowd. Okay? Because he used to be like very dirty and hardly used to take bath. Okay? So he used to be one alone person and around him nobody else used to be there. Okay? That used to be like his situation. Okay? And Maharaj knew, he could see him as he used to be giving a lecture or doing anything for that matter. Maharaj knew, here is same person, okay? Same old person. Okay? So he used to be seeing him and Maharaj observed that he used to hear very intently. Okay? And very lot of attention, lot of focus. He used to keep hearing for that matter. Okay? Once he came to Maharaj and told this. Okay? I just love you people, he said. You bring such joy and happiness to our town. I came to your festival last year. Maybe you don't remember, but your security team asked me to leave. I must have looked very, I must have looked like trouble with my dirty clothes and all. But you told them to let me in. Okay? You took me to the restaurant, sat me down and ordered me a full meal. But what I appreciated most was your talk that evening. Okay? Yeah. Okay. You talk about how this world is a place of suffering. Okay? I know that better than anyone. That is why I am alcoholic. The drink is the only way that stops the pain. But, okay, now you see. But when you come to town, all my sadness goes away. At least for a few hours, I am so grateful for those hours. They mean the world to me. Okay? They mean the world to me for that matter. Okay? Yeah. Then after some years, okay, this is like just after the pandemic, COVID pandemic and all happened, then Maharaj had not been to these places. Okay? Then after the pandemic, Maharaj happened to go over there. Okay? Then Maharaj went to one of the jewelry shop. Sir, there used to be a homeless man who sold things here each summer. Do you know where he is? He is an old friend of mine. Okay? You mean the drunkard? The man asked. The old man with the scruffy white beard? Yes, I replied, that's him. Okay? I didn't know he had any friends. I'm sorry to say that your friend died of COVID last year. They found his body in a shed just off the beach and nobody was sure of his name. Okay? He was buried in an unmarked grave outside of town. Okay? Then Maharaj, okay, I felt stunned. Okay was all I managed. Then I closed my eyes and prayed to Lord Chaitanya to be merciful to him, remembering how the old man had loved the Lord's Sankirtan movement. I felt so distressed that I couldn't immediately go back to the Kirtan party. Okay? This is Maharaj telling, I couldn't go back to the Kirtan party to lead it. Okay? I followed from a distance and prayed for my friend again and again. Okay? When I caught up with the Kirtan, a devotee asked me if I was alright. Okay? Then Maharaj said, not really. I just lost an old friend. Oh, a devotee? Yes, a devotee, I replied. He was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Okay? When this devotee is asking Maharaj, what service did he do? Then Maharaj is telling, he appreciated devotees, respected prasadam, liked to hear Krishna conscious lectures and dance in kirtan. Okay? And he gave a nice donation to our festival every year. Okay? Then this devotee got excited. Oh wow, how much did he give you? Okay? Then Maharaj said, a bouquet of wild flowers. Okay? Then this devotee told, that's not much, Maharaj. Okay? The devotee said, looking puzzled. Okay? Then Maharaj said, okay, hear this very carefully. Okay? Maybe not, okay? But they meant the world to me. Maybe not, but they meant the world to me. Okay? Here you are able to see a person, he has not done anything to Maharaj. Okay? In fact, I'll show his photo now. This is there online. If you want to read, you can read. My Homeless Friend by Indradun Swami Maharaj. Okay? Coming, no? Yeah. This is his homeless friend. Anyway, point I was trying to say was, okay, so especially this consciousness of how anxious we are, okay, and in what direction we give our anxiety to in relation to Krishna is very crucial. Okay. Here Maharaj didn't get anything from him for that matter. Okay. So in every interaction, we have to leave a very positive impression for people to take them go closer to Krishna. Okay? So basically for them, Krishna means you only. Now how you interact, basically that is your representation of the Lord. Okay? That devotee was very, what do you say? He was very enthusiastic. He thought, okay, this person should have given a lot of donation to Maharaj and all. That is why Maharaj is telling he donated. Only thing he gave was bouquet of flowers. But they meant the whole world. They went the whole world for Maharaj. Okay? And for this person, those few hours where devotees were coming, doing Harinam Sankirtan, they meant the world to him. And during only these some hours gave some positive aspect in his life. Rest of the other time he was drinking only for that matter. Drinking only. So, so this is something very crucial that we understand from this section as to how we carry our anxiety. Here Prithu Maharaj is very anxious. Okay? So try to understand, he's a king. He's a king for that matter. Just give me a minute. Okay. He could have just asked somebody, okay, you go and do the reception, or you go and do this, etc., etc. But he himself is doing that. He's a Saktayash avatar. Okay? And he had practically the best of the people in the whole. You understood, the whole Bhumandal is there under him. He could have employed anyone else to do that. Okay? But he personally is going and welcoming the sages. Okay? So, to the degree we have this consciousness towards the great devotees, when they arrive and all, to that degree actually we receive the mercy from them. Okay? We get deep conviction, spiritual convictions in our heart which we don't get in this material world. Okay? Be it by scriptural study or by chanting holy names, doing anything for that matter. Okay? Nothing replaces this consciousness when it comes to guest reception. Guest reception. Yeah. So basically, when one doesn't have this consciousness of being anxious to receive guests, that itself is an offense, first of all. Okay? Like we saw in the case of King Kulshekar. Of course, he was a great devotee. Somehow Lord wanted to teach, what does it mean to even neglect a guest, or neglect that dust that has come by paying obeisances to the Guru. Okay? But the point is, basically, if we are not having this sense of anxiousness or anxiety in our heart when we are receiving guests, that itself is an offense. Okay? So the sense of disrespect or offensive mentality that exists, so whoever be that guest, he can be younger than us or equal to us or senior to us, it will manifest in different ways. Okay? So to those devotees or to those guests who are younger than us, it will manifest in the form of us belittling them, ridiculing them, etc., etc. Okay? To those who are equal to us, like it happened between Drupad and Dronacharya. Okay? So when Drupad became the king, when Dronacharya happened to go, both were very good friends. Okay? But when he went over there, he was not ready to receive him as a guest only. Okay? He was thinking, friendship, if it has to exist, it happens to exist only between equals. Now I have this huge place, but you are a beggar for that matter. How can we be friends over there? So towards equals, basically, the sense of offensive mentality or disrespect comes in the form of boasting mentality. Okay? I am like this, you are lesser than me, etc., etc. Okay? And especially toward those who are elders or senior to us, okay? Like here we see in the case of Prithu Maharaj, he is greatly anxious to welcome the guests and all. Okay? So especially amongst towards guests or towards seniors, it manifests in the form of indifference. It manifests in the form of indifference. Just like Indra, he saw his guru, he was just indifferent for some time. He didn't yell at his guru or reject his instruction, something for that matter. He was just indifferent for some time. Because of that, chapters of chapters came in Bhagavatam for that matter. Had that episode not happened, Bhagavatam would not have been 12 cantos also mostly. Okay? Why this is stressed so much in Bhagavatam also? Because this is a very crucial aspect. Repeatedly it comes. Even in the 10th canto you will happen to see Krishna welcoming Sudama. Here in the 4th canto we are seeing. Again, 1st canto you will see Krishna leaving Hastinapur, again entering Dwarka. There is such great and grand reception is there. Okay? Because this was a very, very crucial aspect of spiritual advancement. Very, very crucial aspect of our spiritual advancement. Okay? And especially towards, as I said, towards the seniors and guests, it manifests in the form of indifference. It manifests in the form of indifference for that matter. Second aspect is that it was stressed, it was spoken at the end, 6th verse. Okay? That Prithu Maharaj, when he addressed these sages, okay, see, kings as such, they are known for being aggressive. Okay? But here it is said that he began to speak to these great sages with great restraint. Okay? That is the word that is used. He began to speak with great restraint, for that matter. Okay? Basically, our speech carries our entire personality. Okay? Our speech carries our entire personality, for that matter. Okay? How we look, how we are, and all, that doesn't matter much. Okay? I still remember 8th standard, I moved to a new school. So I was like 5'11" or so. So everybody as such were like very short over there. They thought, first when I entered the class, they thought, okay, now he'll be like the person. You understand? Okay. In the class. Then I entered, I sat down. Then after me, one more person came. He was like, I was like little thin and tall, but he was like nice, hefty and tall also, for that matter. Okay. When the teacher happened to come, she took her seat and she asked introduction from everybody, whoever was there. Okay. Everybody was giving the introduction. I gave my introduction. Okay. Then this one of my friend, his name is Ritesh. Okay. I still remember him. Okay. So he stood up. Okay. And as he stood up, now everybody was waiting for his introduction. What will it be and all. Okay. Then he said, although he was like very hefty and all, his voice was something like this. My name is Ritesh. Okay. Soon as he said that, everyone was very surprised because of that. Okay. So basically, the speech carries the full personality of the person, for that matter. Speech carries the full personality of the person. Okay. So here in case of Prithu Maharaj also, he is speaking with great restraint. Okay. So he is understanding, these are not some ordinary people. As I speak to them, if I do some mistake or if I do some offense and all, it will be like a grave mistake from my side. My whole kingdom, everybody will be affected because of that. Okay. So he is taking care in his speech only, for that matter. So even in that verse, Bhagavad Gita, Sita Pragyasya ka bhasa. Okay. So they are not talking about other factors. How does he walk? How does he jump, etc., etc. Okay. Or what is his height? Or is he polio affected or COVID affected, etc., etc. Coming to the point only. Sita Pragyasya ka bhasa. Okay. How is his speech? Okay. How is his speech, for that matter? Okay. So basically, the whole personality is carried in the consciousness, which basically comes in the form of speech, for that matter. Okay. One story Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur used to say that one king or zamindar had like an assistant or maybe like kind of his minister also. Okay. Then he asked him, I like this aloo sabji very much. Okay. This aloo, aloo can be used for quite a few things. When the minister started off, yes, my lord, what you are saying is very true. Aloo sabji is so nice. You can eat puri and aloo together. Aloo can be smashed and aloo, that Bengali, what do you call it? Aloo phata and aloo, one more is choka. Aloo choka, everything can be made. So aloo as such is very, very nice. It's very, very tasty. It can be used for everything, for that matter. Aloo is like the king of all vegetables. King understood, something wrong with this fellow. Okay. But sometimes aloo, it doesn't taste good also. And it has some problems and all. Then the minister said, yes, very true. Okay. Aloo as such, when you eat, it causes gas. And if it is very cold, it is not so tasty. And if you fry it and all, it stays for only some time. You can't take it for days together and all. As such, aloo is not very good. Okay. What you said is very, very right, sir. Okay. What you said is very, very true, for that matter. Okay. Actually, I am thinking Bengan as such is quite nice. He said, yes, Bengan very, very, you can fry Bengan, you can make cutlet out of it, and you can eat it with puri, you can eat it with rice. So many things you can do with Bengan. But it is said that Bengan doesn't have any good qualities. Yeah, very true. What you're saying is very right, for that matter. Okay. Bengan as such has no good qualities. It doesn't have any kind of minerals and all. Even if someone eats it, he becomes more, he loses his focus, he loses his concentration, etc. So Bengan as such, doesn't have any kind of quality in that. Okay. Then the king said, now I'm throwing you out of your job only. Okay. Yeah. So basically, be it as devotees or anything for that matter, it's not that we have to keep saying yes to impress the other person. Okay. Why I'm telling this, as I said, the speech carries the consciousness of the whole person. Consciousness of the whole person, for that matter. So we have to be very, very careful when we, how we speak, in what way we interact, especially with the devotees. Okay. His Holiness Sanatana Swami Maharaj says, devotees fall down like rain. Devotees fall down like rain, in the sense, especially in our society, the way we speak, the way we interact with the devotees, it is not so much as per Bhagavatam, because of which offenses are committed so regularly. So Maharaj said this, devotees fall like rain only. They fall down so much, they don't realize only how much they are falling down, at what frequency they are falling down. Including myself, not like devotees or something. Okay. So with this I conclude. So we began with the whole episode of those 6 verses. Okay. So initially the sages are coming, and everybody is recognizing the great sages have arrived. Okay. Whole of Prithu Maharaj's kingdom is recognizing them. Okay. Then after that, Prithu Maharaj, he took the lead. He took the lead to actually welcome them with great anxiety. He is welcoming them, seating them properly, and they are like blazing like fire. They are elder than Lord Shiva. Okay. Then Prithu Maharaj, with great restraint, is speaking and beginning their glorification. That mostly will happen tomorrow. Okay. So we understood, how important is guest reception. There are so many details that do come. Okay. And this is something that can help us elevate in our spiritual life. We can go to great heights by understanding the blessings that we get from doing the service very properly. Okay? This is not just a part of culture. This is not just a part of Vedic culture. This is a part of our spiritual advancement. Okay? Without doing this properly, great trouble exists for us. Okay? If only Drupad had just given some proper exchanges to Dronacharya, then he would have progressed so much, because he just helped a Brahmana in his need, and over and above that he would have gained the blessings of Dronacharya. So much trouble would have been avoided. But it took him very cheaply. Okay? Because of which so much trouble came to him. Okay? Same way we understood from the different context, as to how we have to carry this sense of anxiety towards the guests that come, be they be anybody. Okay? Like we saw from Indradyumna Maharaj, this fellow was a drunkard, shabby person, and beggar, all torn clothes and all. But he welcomed him with such consciousness. Okay? And he got the greatest gift, and he gave the greatest gift also. That is giving his ears, in hearing the message of the Lord. That is success of life. What else is needed? Person heard the message of the Lord so intently from Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. Who else can do the better job when it comes to this? Okay? His life became successful, etc., etc. Okay? But that devotee was very anxious to see on the external how much donation he gave and all. Okay? But Maharaj understood. He has given his heart to Krishna. That much is sufficient. Okay? One more aspect we look at is speech. Okay? What should be the speech? With what restraint and with what consciousness should we always be speaking for that matter. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay? Any questions or queries? Yes. Yeah. How is it basically? Prahlad Maharaj speaks of this. As practitioners, who is still in 3 modes and all of us we categorize friends and enemies over there. So this is a classification on the external front. In principle, if I have to speak, like those people who are known to us, they can do more damage than those who are unknown to us. You see your office, fact, right? Always known people do more damage to us in the office for that. Okay? So then we see, at least as I said, unknown or known people, our interaction should be such that at least that person feels some positive pull towards Krishna. He might see our Kantimala or he might see our Tilak. He'll understand he's Krishna's devotee. Okay? Then at least we reciprocate in a way. We might not fully do the way we do to those people who are known or you understood. Okay? But at least in some way, some gesture, where we just have a very positive impression on him, which takes him closer to Krishna, which makes the whole interaction more Krishna conscious. Okay? At least when he comes, unknown person comes, we say Hare Krishna and things like that. At least he understands, okay, he heard Hare Krishna. At least one holy name he heard. Okay? That at least brought some joy to him. Okay? After that, whatever least that we can do, or whatever maximum we can do in that situation, that we do and close from our side. Kali Yuga is going on. Okay? So we should not cheat others and not get cheated by others. Okay? But at the same time, we should be eager for blessings in our heart. Even if we commit a mistake in that situation, let's say an unknown person comes or we don't deal with him properly, what Krishna sees is, what is our consciousness after that? Are we repenting in our heart? This person could have been taken to closer to Krishna. He saw me with my tilak, he saw me with Kantimala. I didn't deal with him properly. No, he has a chance to go away from Krishna. If this is our consciousness, then it is success. But if this consciousness is not there, if it is just like some kind of a materialistic, money dealing and all, like just we deal with Autowala and all, there also we should be more conscious. But I'm just telling you, like just business dealing. It should not be more. It should be something more than that. Did I answer your question, Prabhuji? I think mostly you knew the answer, but for benefit of other devotees. Wipe off that. This comes in that Sri Jagannath book. Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj writes that. We just kind of just wipe, there. No, he paid prostrated obeisances, and the dust is like coming from the lotus feet of the Guru, not some ordinary dust over there. That he like wiped off. But this might not be like ISKCON. See, our ISKCON pranam is one. A Guru is there, we paid Dandavat pranam over there. Okay? Traditionally and all, the king goes and keeps his feet at the feet of the Guru. You see, like other sampradayas and other places and all. That is how that is what is obeisances for them. Even if you happen to go to Tirupati and all, many elderly Vaishnavas, you directly go and keep your head at their feet. That is how they consider that to be a namaskar over there. One is that is committed intentionally, and one more might be committed because of neglect. You understood, no? Here it was like a neglect at play. Like he knew that he had put his head at the lotus feet of his spiritual master, so he was neglectful of that fact. He thought, okay, something is ordinary is there, then. He thought the dust of his Guru on his head to be like an inconvenience. Wiped it. Of course, he is a very great devotee. The very fact that it happened, Jagannath wanted to show who he is. For that, to make it happen, he made it happen. And he was very repentant in his heart. Are you able to observe that? He didn't think that, okay, this mistake I committed, so this mistake everybody else also commits. And it's not such a serious mistake. Why such a serious punishment for this and all of that? And he didn't postpone the punishment. Okay, now I committed, okay, maybe at the time of death, either way I'll die on funeral pyre. That time let them put a copper plate on that, I'll sleep on that only, it will be considered obeisance. He never brought out these excuses. He took responsibility for mistakes, whether he committed knowingly or unknowingly. Mistake or offenses for that.
Sometimes we have swabhav, we have learned from our upbringing, and sometimes that swabhav has some conflicts with other swabhav. So, the swabhav of one person tends one to make some mistakes or commit some mistakes. So, the swabhav is because of prarabdha or the previous karma. So, does offenses links with prarabdha or karma? Is there any connection between?
Yeah. No, our acharyas are very clear. Disrespect is intentional. One is this might happen, some mistake, by mistake things might happen. One more is disrespect, which is intentional. Means, let's say somebody's swabhav and our swabhav don't go together. We consider him to be like a person who is lower than us. He deserves to be disrespected by me. You understood, no? One is swabhav don't match, but when it grows, because of disrespect, because of envy, when we grow in that side, when dislike grows into hatred and all, then this kind of consciousness comes where we become disrespectful towards him. That is offense. Swabhav doesn't match, okay, then either we can keep distance, or we communicate in ways that person can accept us, or we only deal in those dealings where things are acceptable, then we keep distance, till things become more sober over time. But what can happen is potentially that dislike can go into hatred for that matter, where that is intentional. You understand? No, that happened because of contemplation. His Sabha is like this, he is like that. He doesn't deserve Krishna consciousness. You took him like that. Just like this person who came, he was an alcoholic. The security people and all, they thought, useless fellow, why is he coming inside? Throw him out. But Maharaj saw one important quality, that he had eagerness for devotee association. he was taking part in Harinam, all these things Maharaj observed. That means he's very much a qualified person. Other things and all are there, he might be an alcoholic, this, that will eventually fade away from that.
Any difference between neglect and unknowingness? Like we say, please forgive us for committing any offenses knowingly, unknowingly. So unknowingly and neglect are similar, or any difference between them?
See, unknowingly is like, what do you say, like we say mistake of heart. Okay? Mistake of heart and mistake of the mind. Mistake of heart in the sense, okay, like let's say some flower is offered to Prabhupada, then it is there on the floor, we just walk over it. Okay? That is like unknowing. Okay? Neglectful in the sense, so many flowers you happen to see, chances are there, those flowers might be divine flowers. Chalo. That is why it is said neglect is more stronger than insult also. You understood? Neglect is a more punishment to the enemy than insult also. That is why it is said, if you want to punish your enemy, neglect him. Means he is more strongly, you implicated something on him more strongly than you taking the initiative to hit him or hurt him. So by neglecting him, you have done more damage. Okay? ठीक है. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Online there are questions? I don't think so.